even under the threat of official harassment like yourself, or just everyday trollism, right? But we push on because the truth is irrepressible.
We pushed you up to 50,000 subs, and people are congratulating you. You've just reached
All
it.
right. Peace, everybody. Now I want to get to 100,000 so I can have the play button from TubeView. I'm going to put back here on my trophy case. It'll
They
be the
didn't
only
even
trophy
send
I
me
have.
one. They didn't even send me
They
one.
didn't send you one? For shame.
You've had loads of questions come in, but before we start on the questions, Professor,
Yes.
can you just give me your thoughts on Jay-Z? Because, he's really been like outspoken and trying to destroy Busby. And the word on the street is that something heavy is going to come down on Jay-Z within the next 2 weeks. Even though he's been protesting his innocence. Which way do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I think he's connected with P. Diddy, not just as a friend, as a professional colleague, but in all the different hijinks. I think he's going to tumble with them. They're kind of hooked together like these mountain climbers. Once one of them falls, they all go down. And so this is just brave talk. He's whistling in the dark, so to speak, to keep his courage up, to make sure his people don't abandon him. But they're going to peel away one by one. And this is my prediction. I think he and Beyonce are going to split up. This 2025 is going to be the year of the breakup of power couples in America, at least. One of them being Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle. She didn't go to the inauguration. That's a big tip off. And there's going to be a bunch of other people that are going Splitsville. And by the way, I was just watching this great documentary from 2001. It's called Scratch, right? Hip hop and rap, all this came from the streets. It came from the community. It was an organic art form, and it was hijacked by the intelligence agencies. Right, we know that by now, and it's becoming painfully obvious what happened. We've been cheated for the last couple of decades when people were inserted to bring in a whole new cohort of viewers and make them into a sort of a criminal cohort and help them feed the prison industrial system in America, while at the same time creating a huge industry that the old-time mafia that goes back to the 30s are making the bulk of the money. And the net result is the same. The Black artist, the creative genius behind much of American culture and world culture, gets left with nothing except ruined reputations and zero money. Their attorneys are going to get the money. And the state will probably, yeah.
Tammy wants to know, where can she find Scratch?
Well, I was checking on YouTube, and there's a couple of people who've uploaded there. So check YouTube under Scratch. It's not quite as the fidelity's not so good. So I would recommend getting the DVD. But you can find it there. You get the gist of it, and a lot of it's taken place in my neighborhood, Northern California, the Bay Area, and one of the great DJs of all times, DJ Shadow, went to UC Davis, where I went to school. So the point I'm raising is that art and resistance go together, and they can spring up anywhere in the world. It takes creativity initiative to do that. And that's what the corporations have, and the military, NATO, and the Pentagon that's trying to capture it all. They have not been able to figure out that X factor. They think they're going to solve it with AI, but they have misplaced hopes, because we, the people, are going to fool them with our boundless creativity. This proves it. Right? We're about ready. We're due for a revival, a creative revival in the music business. That's why I don't really care if Metallica goes down the drains and that these artists are not making any money from Spotify, which is a Swedish company, by the way. Sweden is very much part of this, a strategic note of the killing of the music industry as we know it. It doesn't bother me because we can play in our bedrooms. We can meet up and have a play, just like the early days of the rock revolution in swinging London. They would just go to the clubs, and then there's Jimmy Page sitting there. There's Eric Clapton on a bar stool. I say, hey, let's have a play. And then say, hey, there's a guy from America. His name's Jimi Hendrix. That was the scene. It grew organically from a bunch of post-war war babies, Pete Townsend, all of them, who said, man, we want to make music. We want to express ourselves. So we're at that juncture right now.
Right, there's 20 minutes left. Are you okay to take some questions from the viewers?
Absolutely. I love this part.
All right, get your viewers' questions in, please, folks. And I'm curious about this one. What's your opinion on the helicopter and airplane crash in New Jersey?
I think it was a signal to the Trump administration that he better watch his six, right? They're coming after him with helicopters, drones. It's going to be some sort of airborne aerial, some sort of aerial attack. So I don't think it was an accident.
All those strange drones that was out prior to Trump coming in, what was your interpretation of that?
I think that was partly to make us look up in the sky, look away by looking up, but also sending a warning, right? All this, it's all about the timing, right? When is this happening? Pre-inauguration, and Trump's coming in. They don't want to celebrate his greatest comeback in American political history, his intelligent and beautifully striking wife, who came in. I did the talk with Lena Poo on my recent one. She breaks down the whole semiotics, the sign language, the signs of her wardrobe, which the message she's sending out. But she is on a mission, you know. Her brim was pulled down here. You didn't see her eyes. She's coming after these people. Right? It's going to be a really interesting 2025, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, let me just correct that. The plane crash was DC, not New Jersey. All right, so Vanessa, hi, Professor, love this show. Do you think Elvis Presley was unalived?
No, well, he had a personal physician who was feeding him all kinds of narcotics. I think he was being controlled, like a lot of these other celebrities, by his management, which was not just Colonel Parker, but the whole, I think it was RCA that owned a lot of his catalog. So not deliberately assassinated, but he was kind of put down that path because he was at a certain point, he was alive. He was worth more dead than alive, his catalog. And it's interesting to see who owns the Elvis Presley recording catalog. It's going to be some attorney in New York City, guaranteed. Fusion centers.
Again, it's like
I would argue
they bring these doctors in, don't they? And they give them the meds, and there's never an inquiry. It's just the guy's died. It's like the ideal way to unalive someone because there's no investigation, there's nothing. It's yeah. So Naranjit is saying, what does the professor think about fusion centers and undercover roles? What's a fusion center?
Well, fusion centers were set up as regional spy nodes for the intelligence agencies in America and the other Five Eyes countries as part of the British Commonwealth. They're set up all over. What people don't understand is fusion centers, the major research universities are acting as fusion centers, gathering intelligence. For one, they are getting all the latest research on AI being produced by Indian students and Chinese students primarily for their professors, who are then later on disposed of and their patents are stolen and they're murdered so that they can create the next wave of technology. That's the fusion center. And they also, on the other hand, create DEI, critical race studies, queer studies, in order to deflect what's really going on at these fusion centers, which are universities, which is this next wave. technology, which is meant for our enslavement, human enslavement, not liberation. We need to very quickly in 2025 fall out of love with Elon Musk. I think it's imperative that we start getting beyond this initial wave, getting into the honeymoon period. We need to get back on track and look at him and other figures critically. These are all going to be integrated within communities, fusion centers. That's part of the model.
Yeah, David Icke is not